Hello class, we were studying about the lesson diversity in living organisms. So, we have already studied about the classification and different kingdoms also. We have studied about kingdom Plantae in detail and we have to continue studying kingdom Animalia where we have already studied about few phylums already. So, let us continue the lesson. Now, we shall study about phylum Mollusca. So, in this group, the animals have bilaterally symmetrical division. That means both left and right half of the body will be similar. The cavity is reduced and we can see little segmentation in the body also. They have open circulatory system and kidney-like organs for excretion. There is food that is used for moving around. Examples of the animals belonging to Mollusca are octopus, snails and mussels. Echinodermata. Here the animals will have spines in their skin. And these animals are free-living marine animals. They are triploblastic. That means the body will have 3 layers of cells. And these animals have coelomatic cavity. We can see a peculiar water-driven tube system and it is used for moving around. They have hard calcium structure or calcium carbonate structures that is used as a skeleton. Few examples of the animals belonging to Echinodermata are sea cucumber, starfish, feather star, sea urchin, Echinus. Protochordata. Here the animals are bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic and even the animals have a coelom. At the same time, they show a new feature of the body design which is called as notochord. Notochord means it is a long rod-like support or structure that runs along the back of the animal, separating the nervous tissue from the gut. It provides a place for muscles to attach for ease of movement. So muscles are attached to the notochord and it helps in movement also. Protochordates may not have a proper notochord present at all stages in their life, but in few stages they will show the structure called notochord. Protochordates are marine animals. For example, Balanoglossus, Herdmania and Amphioxus are the examples of the animals belonging to Protochordata. Vertebrata, these animals have a true vertebral column and internal skeleton also, which allows them to get the muscles attached to them at different points which will be helping them in movement. Vertebrates are bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic. Bilaterally symmetrical means both half of the body, left and right halves of the body are similar. They are triploblastic. That means the body has 3 layers of cells. Then coelomatic and segmented. The body will have an internal cavity and it will have segments also. It has complex differentiation of body tissues and organs. Different tissues, body tissues can be seen, organs can be seen. And all the chordates will have a notochord, dorsal nerve cord, triploblastic, and have paired gill pouches and are coelomatic. Vertebrates are grouped further into 5 classes, that is Pisces, amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammals. Now we have studied about kingdom Animalia, which has got different phylums. Which are the different phylums of kingdom Animalia? We have already studied about phylum Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Protochordata and Vertebrata. Phylum Vertebrata is again subgrouped into 5 classes. Which are the 5 classes? Pisces, amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammalia. So let us study about these 5 classes now. Pisces. They are called as fish in common, and you might have seen different varieties of fish, isn't it, children? Yes, and many of the fishes are edible also. The skin of the fish is covered with scales or plates, and they have gills as their respiratory organ by which they can obtain oxygen which is dissolved in water. So, by using gills, these fishes will use the oxygen which is dissolved in water for respiration. The body is streamlined like this. Yes? And a muscular tail is used for movement. These organisms or fishes are cold-blooded organisms and their heart is only 2-chambered, whereas in case of human beings the heart is 4-chambered. These organisms lay the eggs and some of them have skeleton made up of cartilage such as shark, and some have the skeleton made up of both bone and cartilage. For example, in rohu fish or tuna fish, the skeleton is made up of both bone and cartilage. So, few examples of fishes are lionfish, anglerfish, yes, dogfish, stingray. All these are the examples of fish. Amphibia. These animals are different from those of Pisces. You know why? Because they don't have scales in their body. But instead of scales, they have mucus glands in their skin, and these animals have 3-chambered heart. Respiration will go on with the help of gills and also lungs. And these animals will lay eggs. These animals are found both in water and in land, so only they are known as amphibians. Examples are frogs, toad, salamander, hyla and so on. Reptilia. These animals are cold-blooded animals and have scales also. You might have seen a snake, isn't it? Different varieties of snakes are found and they are poisonous also. They are harmful also. But you can see scales on the body of the snake. So you might have seen a chameleon or turtle. In case of these animals, they possess a heart which is 3-chambered. One exception is there in the group of these reptilia, that is in case of crocodile, it has got a heart with 4 chambers in it. The animals will lay the eggs with tough covering and do not need to lay the eggs in water. They lay the eggs in the land only. Snakes, turtles, lizards, crocodile are the examples of the animals belonging to reptilia. Aves. So you might have seen different types of birds, beautiful birds in and around you. So all the birds fall under the category of aves. These aves are warm-blooded animals and have 4-chambered heart like the human beings. Whereas in case of class Amphibia and Reptilia, we have studied that the animals will possess 3-chambered heart. But aves will have 4-chambered heart. These birds will lay the eggs and the birds are covered with feathers, beautiful attractive feathers. In case of birds, the 2 forelimbs are modified for flight. The forelimbs are modified into wings which is used for flight. They breathe through their lungs. Few examples of the birds are given here. Ostrich, duck, pigeon, sparrow, crow. Mammalia. Mammals are warm-blooded animals with 4-chambered heart. We human beings also belong to class Mammalia only. These animals will have mammary glands for the production of milk in order to nourish their young ones. The nourishment of the young ones is taken care by providing milk. The skin of the animals has hairs as well as sweat glands and oil glands. Most of the mammals will produce young ones of their own kind. But few animals like platypus and echidna lay eggs, and some like kangaroos will give birth to very poorly developed young ones. But they take care inside their pouches. Special organ is there in their body only in order to take care of their young ones. So the young one of a kangaroo will be taken care inside the pouch of the kangaroo for few months. Some examples are shown here. Nomenclature. Nomenclature means scientifically naming a particular organism is called as nomenclature. It would be difficult for the people speaking or writing in different languages to know when they are talking about the same organism. So, in order to avoid the problem, worldwide scientific name was given for every organism. The scientific name of an organism is thus an unique and can be used to identify it anywhere in the world, because instead of speaking in different languages, if one scientific name is given, that can be identified by all the people using different languages or writing in different languages. So, scientific name is common in any language. If you write, the scientific name will be common for a particular organism. And to write the scientific names of different organisms, we need to follow some certain rules. So, the system of scientific naming or nomenclature we use today was introduced by the scientist Carolus Linnaeus in 18th century. When we actually name the species, we do not list out the whole hierarchy of groups it belongs to. Instead, it limits ourselves to writing the name of the genus and species of that particular organism. We can write just the genus and species of a particular organism. And while writing the genus and species, we need to follow certain rules. What is that? The name of the genus begins with a capital letter. The word genus will begin with a capital letter. The name of the species begins with a small letter. First of all, whenever we write the name, scientific name, we need to write genus name and species name. So, the name of the genus will begin with a capital letter and the name of the species will begin with a small letter. If it is printed, then the scientific name will be given in italics. If we write it in hand, the genus name and the species name have to be underlined separately. So what is nomenclature? Naming a particular organism scientifically, which can be recognized throughout the world, is known as nomenclature. It will have two words, that is the genus and the species name. And while writing also we have to follow some rules and regulations. Okay, this is all about the lesson, children. Hope everybody has followed the lesson Diversity in Living Organisms, where we have studied about the classification, hierarchy of classification, 5 kingdoms of classification, and phylums of kingdom Animalia and subdivisions of kingdom Plantae also. We have studied about 5 classes of vertebrata also. Hope everybody have understood.